Well, folks, we had a good run. I mean, modern humans have been doing pretty well for the past 160,000 years. We've made a lot of progress. We built some mud huts, sharpened some spears, invented math. Sure, there were some missteps we could brush under the rug, like Agent Orange or whatever this thing is. And of course, there's some we can't, like, well, you know. But honestly, I think there's one thing humanity has created that truly spells the end for us. Not nukes, not chemicals in the water. No, it's this thing. Yep, we're screwed. The Apple Vision Pro was announced at Apple's annoying ass press conference last year, and at the time I didn't really think much of it. I've never been an Apple guy. Personally, I don't find their brand image sexy or interesting at all. Honestly, a lot of their products just kind of remind me of a bar of soap. I'm a green texting, virus getting, jailbreaking Android dork, currently rocking the Google phone in all its mediocre glory. Although this isn't as true as it used to be, I do really appreciate the openness and flexibility of the Android system compared to Apple's gilded cage of a ecosystem. A lack of openness is a big part of the reason why I don't really use my VR headset anymore either. It all started out so optimistic and exciting. The VR industry was just a handful of scrappy startups innovating new designs and trying new things, competing with each other. Game developers were learning how to utilize this new technology to create totally unique gameplay experiences. You know, some of my favorite gaming memories involve donning this dorky piece of plastic. But then, Meta bought Oculus. And Meta forced you to log into Facebook if you wanted to use your headset. And whether it's related or not, after that, the whole wellspring of innovation in the industry kinda dried up. Half-Life Alyx released in March 2020, and even though it was amazing, it was a great experience, there hasn't really been much else to talk about in the space since then. Except for, this stuff.
There's one more feature coming soon that's probably the most requested feature on our roadmap. Legs.
Legs! I know you've been waiting for this.
I think everyone has been waiting for this.
Until now. The Vision Pro from Apple just released a couple weeks ago, and the reactions I've been seeing to it have been mixed at best. The technology that allows this thing to do what it does is undoubtedly impressive. The damn thing has 13 cameras on it, LiDAR scanning systems, iris biometric authentication, and honestly, all that in one device is already starting to sound pretty dystopian. But it's what the headset does with all that ridiculous tech that really starts to make my stomach churn. This video from Casey Neistat is the one that really crystallized this feeling for me. It's an entertaining watch, seeing Casey stumble through the streets of New York City with giant snow goggles strapped to his face, pinching at the air and gawking at nothing in particular. Near the end of the video, Casey starts wrapping up his feelings about the Vision Pro, and he says this.
I was like, holy shit, this is it. This is the future of computing that everyone's been promising for like the last 15 years. This is something that like let me like truly peek into where all of this is going. This isn't the future of AR or VR. I think this is the future interface for all computing.
He doesn't really dig into this thought very deeply. He's clearly very impressed by the technology and sees that it'll be important in the future, but he doesn't really delve into what that'll mean for individuals or for society at large. But that's not really Casey's shtick, right? That's my shtick. I'm the existentialist video essayist here to tell you about all the doom and gloom that's coming for us. Here's my take on it. The Apple Vision Pro is a harbinger, a sign of things to come, a clue in the puzzle of our downfall. People are lonely, if you haven't heard. It's a public health crisis, in fact. Gen Z kids aren't making friends, they aren't having sex, they're barely even going outside anymore, to say nothing of the other generations. And a big reason for all that is, you guessed it, social media. The handful of apps owned by ultra-wealthy and powerful corporations that track you, find out what makes you tick, slot you into advertiser-friendly categories, and then serve up whatever they need to keep your eyes glued to the screen. This probably isn't a revelation to you these days. Everyone seems to have gotten pretty cozy with their personal algorithms. I'm pretty proud of mine, to be honest. The memes it serves me up on Instagram are just... The problem is, the time spent scrolling on these apps hardly qualifies as social. As it turns out, seeing your friends and family post about their pedestrian lives does not keep your eyes glued to the screen like this stuff does.
Gang gang, gang gang, balloon. Gang gang, gang gang, that was good. Lemonade. Hee-haw, yes, you got me feeling like a cowgirl. Let me write it, huh? Hee-haw, yes, you got me feeling like a cowgirl. Let me write it, huh? Slay, huh? Slay, huh? Slay, huh? Ice cream so good. Gang gang, gang gang.
So instead, the algorithm will serve you Mr. Beast videos and TikTok dancing compilations and 5 new TV shows nobody's heard of every single day. And it works. We spend more time on our phones now throughout the day than pretty much anything else, besides maybe sleeping if you're lucky. We're already feeling so disconnected from the world around us, dissociated from our communities, and siloed into these little online bubbles created especially for us. These little rectangles have such a chokehold on us. It's hard to believe they've only been around for like 15 years. We basically have no choice anymore. We need to have smartphones for work, for keeping in contact with anyone, for navigation. But there's still a degree of separation here. If I'm done with this thing, I can put it down. Well, I can't put it down, I'm recording with it, but theoretically, I could put it down, put it in my pocket, put it away, turn it off, and be disconnected from it. It's a discrete device that requires conscious effort to use. But what about when there's no separation left? And now we return to Casey, sitting on the subway, oblivious to the people around him, poking and prodding at things that only he can see. In his in-depth review of the Vision Pro, Marques Brownlee said that at one point he started looking around the room for screens that weren't there because he wasn't even wearing the headset at that point.
I was using the Vision Pro for a while, and I had my Mac and some other monitors around me, and then I took it off, and then I went and did something, and then I came back, And before I put the headset back on, I looked up at the wall to where I thought a window was going to be, but I don't know if that says more about the headset or about me.
And it's not just you, Marquez. It's gonna be all of us soon enough. Sure, it looks pretty ridiculous now. Most people wouldn't ever wear something like this in public or otherwise. But like I said, this is just the beginning. The Apple Vision Pro 2 will be smaller, lighter, and cheaper than the first one. And the version 3 will be even smaller and cheaper than that. Soon enough, it could be as simple as putting on a pair of sunglasses. Eventually, it could be even simpler than that. Neuralink is a company created by Elon Musk a couple years ago, with the stated goal to create a generalized brain interface to restore autonomy to those with unmet medical needs today and unlock human potential tomorrow. Basically, they're trying to develop a chip that you can jam into your head to control technology through goddamn telepathy. Musk recently posted one of the most dystopian-ass tweets I've ever seen. Something you'd find in a trashed office in a sci-fi horror game.
The first human received an implant from Neuralink yesterday and is recovering well. Initial results show promising neuron spike detection.
Now, Musk does have a history of straight up lying about the progress his companies are making on certain technologies. How's that self-driving coming, Elon? Regardless, whether it's the people working under Muskrat, or Zuck, or Bezos, one of these tech conglomerates are going to figure out how to take the experience of the Vision Pro and shrink it down into something that everyone can wear. From snow goggles, to sunglasses, to an implant in your brain. And after that, it's gonna be a little bit harder to just put the phone down. Can you even imagine trying to be a teacher once this shit is normalized? Alright, Timmy, I see your eyes glazed over back there. You better not be watching e-girl streams on your ocular implant. I got my EMP right here, I'll use it. Just another hurdle teachers will have to get over while their salaries continue to stagnate. That's not the main thing that concerns me, though. According to this well-written philosophy article, atomization is the process by which larger units, compounds or cultures, molecules or families are broken down into their subcomponents, their individuality gaining clarity as their relationships disintegrate. Essentially, the shared experiences and communities that once bonded us together are being slowly eroded away. Culturally, we lack the social technology which once would have bound us together. We are atomized in that our lives are less intertwined, but also in that we are less able to withstand close contact and the constraints it brings. This is seen in a breakdown of both romantic relationships as well as friendships. It's difficult to blame the atomization of our culture on any one thing in particular, even though I've spent this video harping on social media. The whole internet, video games, the 24-hour news cycle, political division.
Do you see loneliness as a political problem?
I see it as having huge political implications. And also there are policy decisions that get made every day that impact social isolation. Isolation means we're more likely to stay in bubbles, particularly on the web. The bubbles are very isolating. The bubbles don't expand our thinking. They don't expand our perspectives. They reinforce the same perspective.
But this shit, this right here, to me, is the straw that could really break the camel's back. Once we have the option to basically plaster over the real world to cover it up with content, I think that will push these social issues to their breaking point. People won't feel the need to engage with pure, unadulterated reality at all. Whether you're driving and have Google Maps pasting arrows on the road in front of your eyes so you don't even need to think about where you're driving, or you're on a hike and get bored and can just flip on a podcast in your own head, or you're in a public space but you can't see anyone around you because a movie is playing right in your head. No one will really be anywhere, even if they're sitting right in front of you. And you might say to me, "Oh, I would never do that. I won't get the implant. I'm built different." I don't believe you. I don't buy it. I think a lot of people would have said the same thing about whether they would choose to spend hours every night before bed scrolling on Instagram. But that's just how our brains are wired. We crave that stimulation all the time. Our capacity to be bored was never great, but these companies have figured out how to exploit it, and that capacity just keeps shrinking. It takes willful effort and conscious thought to put the phone down, pull out the earbuds, and turn off the TV. It can be hard, but it's doable. But it's gonna be a lot harder when the TV, the earphones, and the phone are all built in. And at that point, things are only gonna get worse. The loneliness epidemic will continue to grow and spread, fueling higher suicide rates and lower birth rates. And those lower birth rates will continue contributing to the demographic collapse we see happening in places like Japan. The digital wall that exists around us will continue to get taller, filtering everything in the real world through a virtual miasma. I mean, Jesus, people don't even meet each other in real life anymore. Look at this chart. Couples used to meet through common spaces and places like work, family, friends, a bar. Now, though, nothing. Nothing except Tinder and Hinge and fucking Plenty of Fish. Bumble even has a friends app because people don't know how to make friends in real life anymore. We're already deep into this transition. Some tech Luddites may abstain from getting the Vision Pro 3 implanted into their skulls, and some people might just say fuck it and move to the Appalachians and get a log cabin. But the rest of us, I don't think are gonna do that. And I haven't even touched on how AI will influence this process too. How you won't even be able to tell if the images you see on the screens in front of you are real or not. You'll be looking at a reflection of the truth. The screens you use to block out reality, showing you a AI-generated gruel tailor-made for you. And you know, that sounds pretty awful. I don't have much else to say beyond that. This is something I'm deeply concerned about, but what else can I do? I hope that some people think about this, but I know most people won't, right? I guess I just wanted to yell into the void for a bit, to have your eyes glued on me, to let you listen to my real, ungenerated voice. While you still can. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to boost me in the YouTube algorithm. Thank you to my patrons, Sagewater Dragon, Peppa Crab, and Love Letters. Consider joining my Patreon to help support high quality video essays like this. See you on the next one.